What's going on? Welcome back to the channel. So today when I talk to you about hologram, I want to go over some of the data points, what's been really coming out from hologram, and if individuals on Reddit are correct about holograms. I want to go over all the things that you need to know, but first make sure to hit that thumbs up, and with that, let's get right to it. So hologram on Friday did hit a new all-time low of $8.95, of course factoring in the reverse stock split and so forth. So definitely not good, and despite it being down 99.57% over the last 1 year, you have a lot of individuals, primarily on Reddit, just saying, are you ready for an explosion? When will this squeeze? So I feel like a lot of people just see a stock that's somewhat shorted and they see the stock price going down, insinuating that it is going to squeeze. And I feel like a lot of individuals just have that backwards. So when it comes down to hologram itself, they completely went silent. So as I've indicated on previous videos, that's a massive red flag. And on a side note, I only do one hologram video a week because I've said my piece. I said what's going to happen. I still do feel another reverse stock split is going to occur in Q3. As crazy as that sounds, it is going to happen. And for those individuals that think that they can't do a reverse stock split, blah blah blah, well, this stock right here, Mullen Automotive, is going to be doing their now 7th reverse stock split. So they are, I believe it is announced for sometime in the next little bit. So at the end of the day, they can do more reverse stock splits, and they will, because a lot of these old notes are going to be coming due, and nobody really wants to buy hologram right now, as bad as it sounds, and despite what people are really saying on Reddit. So at the end of the day, they just also did do another note. So as you can kind of see, short-term note prospectus, April the 23rd. This one is kind of following their recent format. So prior to February the 18th, they always did 28 million. Then they received 25 after fees and so forth. But February the 18th, and also the most recent one, they upped it to now 40. So they definitely are a little bit more desperate, and honestly, rightfully so, because a lot of these ones that were issued previously, so for instance, the May 9th one, that was 28 million, as you can kind of see right over here. So this 28 million note ultimately has to be paid back this upcoming week, so in roughly 6 days. So that does mean that their cash that a lot of people boast about, saying that they have 300+ million in cash equivalents, they're rich and all this, that's going to get eaten away very fast, because look at all this that they did issue. So May the 9th, April the 23rd, that one already was obviously paid back. March the 14th, January the 24th, and the reason why the 20F did not indicate any of this being paid back is because they didn't do prospectuses in 2023. They just simply did a F3, and which is just direct issuance of shares. So that was something that they did start in 2024, and again, not really fully represented as being paid back based on the last 20F, right? Because the last 20F was only up until December the 31st, 2024. I'm sure a lot of people are under the impression that I am incorrect, but I've stated this time and time again. I stated this way back in 2024 throughout, again, my weekly videos, that even if you get in now, you think it's a good deal, you're still going to lose roughly around 90% of your equity and your value in about the next 2 quarters, and as they do another reverse stock split. So moral of the story, in my opinion, is just to avoid hologram at all costs. Do not listen to individuals on Reddit. There's just a lot of suspicious activity coming from random accounts, and I feel as though that a lot of those individuals are truly paid, because that's the downside of the internet, right? That I can make a fake account and just pump to no end a stock and just say, hey, hologram's a squeeze play, And I'm sure some people might actually believe me and act like truly buy it. So this is just a little bit more of a warning. I've been warning a lot of individuals about hologram, and I recently did kind of buy a put, as I've disclosed. So this last bump up in January, I did buy a put, and conveniently I did close it out on Friday just to kind of get some more capital flowing. But I made a pretty solid, I think it was like 300 and something percent. So even despite everything though, I still do feel that there is a significant downside with hologram going forward. And so let me know your thoughts on that. And for those individuals that do believe that hologram is a squeeze play, just to kind of appease you, 19.69% of the free float is being shorted. As I've stated in the past, if you do believe that dilution is occurring, that is going to directly affect that number right there. But 752.03 thousand shares overall are being shorted. So in theory, this is kind of what the market does like though. And so this is probably why it is getting a lot of those individuals at saying that this is a squeeze play, because typically the market does like somewhat heavily shorted and low float. So again, that's probably where a lot of these individuals are coming from, in my opinion. But cost to borrow average is 234.66%. So when it comes down to hologram, if you do own it, you're still questioning on what I'm stating. I don't know why anyone would still be questioning it, but nonetheless though, I would recommend for you to kind of look at the recent 6K. This does put it in perspective on exactly what does happen. So I've mentioned this time and time again, this section right here. So the whole conversion process is it's sometimes complex, but I've dealt with enough companies that do this to kind of understand it. So you have the actual note holders. What they do is they convert. So a lot of that interest payments is paid through common stock. Lower the stock price because interest payments are fixed. That's my crappy F, but those payments are, and dollar value is fixed. So lower the stock price, more shares are issued. So that is pretty much kind of the moral of the story. And the most that they can hold is 9.9%. So they kind of convert and get and own 9.9%. So as soon as they hit that, then they sell their stock just to lower and free up some room. By them selling, they ultimately bring the stock price down, which adds more shares because lower the stock price, again, more conversions, and then they obviously convert more, get that 9.9%, rinse and repeat. Very, very, any stock that honestly does this, I think is a short. There's very few companies that have actually done this. I think Resolve AI is the only company that I am aware of that did have these convertible notes, and they did recall them. They took a pretty big hit on that. I think they paid like 44 million to close them out, but even they saw it advantageous to close it out on behalf of shareholders. Hologram, honestly, they could care less about you at the end of the day. So let me know your viewpoint. Again, this is just more of a warning video, my weekly video, just to go over some of the highlights and things that you need to know with this company. But there's just excessive amount of red flags that I feel that you need to kind of just pull the trigger. There's a lot better stocks out there. Market has been green for 9 days, consecutive days, whereas hologram over the last 5 days is down 26.59%. So eventually people are going to come to the realization that this stock is nothing more than a scam, and you can make money elsewhere. So let me know your thoughts. Do you still believe in hologram? Do you think I am wrong? Which, again, despite me doing weekly videos, being accurate like pretty much all the time about this stock, I still have a lot of people in my comments saying that this stock is like the godsend. It's amazing. It's worth buying. I have no idea why. So let me know your thoughts on Hologram. Don't forget to hit that thumbs up and subscribe. I always greatly appreciate that. And then one final thing, if you are looking for some kick-ass buy signals, pop over to my Patreon and get buy signals on stocks, options, crypto, many of which have been absolutely on point. So definitely worthwhile to pop over there and take a look. With all that, appreciate all of you watching.